Yeah, right.
Shouldn't he be in between us? Because I feel like
I thought he was moving up
I
north.
kind of feel like we need.
Oh, he's up
shouldn't
there.
be
We
next
need
to
a
each other.
buffer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like way up in the UP where he was from.
That's
Yeah.
fine. We should
I think
see
he's
because
in between us.
but then I have to
We're
sit
gonna shuffle
by.
around here.
Ricky,
This is
yeah.
our executive producer, Jordan
Yeah, he's
Riles,
sitting
is
next
in
to
Columbia
MSU.
with
You're
the
sitting next
country.
to.
Why
Could not be here.
don't you switch with him?
Welcome to Big
You
Ten
sit there,
Frenemies.
and then he comes all the way around.
Look at how
Exactly.
smart we are.
Are we filming right now?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Told you like a half hour
Well,
ago.
welcome to Big Ten Frenemies.
Yeah,
Steve's trying to steal the show as per
This is,
usual, but as we all know, Michigan just cannot make that happen no
This
matter
is
what they
riveting podcast.
do. It will be.
You're going to hear crunching.
So, on this podcast, we have a little bit to talk about because it is another rival week. This time being Michigan State, so the in-state rivalry. Obviously, there are no hard feelings towards anyone. I'm going to get into a little bit before I let them hash it out. Chase Young is back, for those of you who are super worried about it.
Really?
Yes.
Really, I assumed for sure he'd be gone for the season.
I know, right?
Wow.
It's
You
not
know,
like he sold a gold necklace or something.
Thank you, Tim Nevius, for all your hard work,
sarcasm.
your due diligence.
He's an actor.
Yeah.
Smart and Pat off
the
camera.
accent over
Spoiler
there?
alert. Smart. Okay, go ahead with that.
Yeah, by all means.
Wolverine Ricky to my left. Spoiler alert.
Wolverine Steve is extremely upset. See, Phil here,
I'm bitter.
they're past. He's over it.
It's
But this
basketball
one still
season.
has it coming.
I'm bitter.
Yes, you are. Extremely.
I hate the Ohio State.
We know.
Yeah,
So
we-
just that tidbit,
Ohio State
FYI,
beat
we're
or-
number 2 in the
They lost out
nation.
on that trademark.
Where did you guys end up?
I don't
15?
know. I don't watch that propaganda show.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
I don't know. We were 15. Michigan was 15.
15.
Andrew, they're 14th.
Oh,
I
14.
hear about it from local media every 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to be nice to the Spartans, but I didn't.
It's an
what,
important number to have.
Time Live lets me know
what
every
number?
5 seconds.
What one were you? What number were you guys?
We are nothing.
77.
We
I thought you
are-
guys were 25th.
There's 25, then there's 50 feet of
Can-
crap,
put-
and then there's us.
Peek your head in there. Come on, just peek
Did
your head
you
in there.
see-
That's Spartan Pat. We got a special
Come on.
guest.
Hey, buddy.
Ricky, can you peek your head in there? Yeah. Oh, that's Wolverine.
There he
Ricky.
is.
All
It's
right,
like
we
a
got-
Northern Gentleman
we got
toothpick.
a full house there. We got a Spartan and a Wolverine. We
Yep.
got backup.
Backup flanks.
Okay, Phil
So-
and I kill each other. We got two
Oh.
stand-ins.
I'm going to jump
I know
right
where
into
my
it.
money lies.
That's what
Phil,
she said.
your team has been horseshit this year.
Fact.
Comes from a Buckeye. Sounds better.
Steve,
Yeah.
your team is horseshit in general.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
All right, defend it.
It's not horseshit.
He just admitted it. You're just like, no.
Well, his team's lost 4 games in a row. Now,
But at least we scored multiple touchdowns
yes,
their last
I'm
game.
not sitting here saying Michigan should be ranked in the top 4 in the college playoffs. I'm just saying they're not horseshit.
But they are.
That's in your opinion.
So is Harbaugh.
Well, this is a great. For Michigan State week, our Buckeye host is going to talk about how Michigan's horseshit, and
Put
so
him
is
in power.
Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a metaphor.
It is. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Oh.
I
hot bowl of
disagree.
suck
I
I'm
disagree
sitting in.
with those statements.
Give me reasons.
Sounds appetizing.
Why Michigan is not horseshit and Harbaugh is not horseshit.
Correct.
Well, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe Harbaugh, since he's been in Michigan, is like 48 and 13, which is like a 78% winning percentage.
Yep.
Michigan sits right now at, I think, 7 and 2.
So you beat Notre Dame. What else have you accomplished?
We won 6 other games
Against who?
My friend sent this to
against
me.
Illinois.
Me and our other friend that went to Michigan State.
Do I need to list
They
all
should
of
say
that?
everything about
If you're saying Michigan hasn't had quality wins this
Yes.
year, you're right. They've had one extreme, really good win.
Yes.
Right.
2 years in a row. Yes.
But they.
Sorry.
Yes.
All hope was definitely lost if you lost to Notre Dame, but hope is just a.
I mean, in fairness,
Hope
look, you
springs
guys.
eternal.
But if you want to play that game, you guys have looked unbelievable. But how many good teams have you beaten so far?
Wisconsin.
How many other teams?
I mean, I guess that depends who you want to consider.
define.
Cincinnati
Wait,
is in the top 25.
Wisconsin lost to Illinois the week before they played Ohio State, though, right?
But
I'm just curious.
but I'm
Ricky.
Define
I'm
good.
pretty sure Wisconsin.
Why is Notre Dame? Why is
Well-
Notre Dame
well-
an accomplishment?
Notre Dame's a good football team.
Are they? But
Okay,
why
so
would you
is
say that?
Wisconsin not a good football
You
team?
can go round and round all you
Did they
want
not
with
put
us.
35 points on you?
Yeah, Michigan played like horseshit in that game. For
Did you
sure.
guys play at home?
No,
Where'd you play?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
In Madison.
Yeah, so they put
Yeah.
35 points on you.
Here's the,
They did.
but Ohio State has throttled everybody. I mean,
They
throttled
have, but I'm
everybody.
saying
So
it's-
it's,
but it,
have they
This
played?
becomes the argument we
I don't
had
even-
last year, and Phil adamantly stood up for Alabama when you and I both said, nope, Alabama is horseshit because they had a cupcake schedule, and he said, no, because they have won out and they have won with dominance.
Yeah.
And that is what we have done. Therefore, I'm going to refer back to last year's Phil argument of, winning with dominance.
But here's what it comes down to. You cannot, if you're trying to analyze teams, they're not throttling the Miami Ohio's of the world. They're as bad as Michigan State's been, we still have we're not utter horse shit. It seems that way, but the record is there. I'm not trying to defend us, but that's legit. Throttling us, crushing us.
Cincinnati,
crushing
who's
Wisconsin.
in the top 25.
Cincinnati's top 25 team.
Here's the
Crushing.
thing. I think Ohio
Crushing.
State is one of the 2 best teams in the country. That wasn't my whole thing. Was he was attacking Michigan out of the chute for some reason.
So don't
I'm
get
not
defensive.
sure
Just
why.
state facts
And
about
then
your
he
team.
asked, but his argument was, "Who have you beaten?" And I'm
I know
just
you won the
saying,
national championship in
in
1997.
that argument.
Remember when you guys were East champions last year?
This is the kind of bullshit I put on.
I
So
got banners for
listen,
this.
we're gonna live in the moment here. All right, we're not going back.
Where's
there.
my ring, bitch?
Oh,
man. East Division.
That was good.
I was simply pointing out, like, if that's the argument that you're going down that road,
The
you could
road
say
to
that
Indy,
about
which
a lot of
You will
teams.
need a map for.
Yes. You will need a road.
Listen. I give
else you
give
guys
Michigan full credit for a Notre Dame win, a win over Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
Destroying them.
Kudos.
In the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what what it comes down to is, you're gonna get our best effort this
Yes.
week. Whatever Michigan State has, you're gonna get. Whatever Ohio State has, you're gonna get. And at the end of the day, that's really where it comes. Nothing else matters, because if you lose to Michigan State, lose to Ohio State, or even beat Michigan State, lose to Ohio State, it's like, okay, when is it you're gonna get over the hump, And it's not to say, and that's
It'll take what it takes, right? But it's like I don't know what the point is.
So tell me this, though.
What's
the
the
point
point?
is, and you're going to hate me because I'm going to say it, and I already know it, and you know what's coming. If Harbaugh doesn't do anything this year, what does that look like in the eyes of the alum, the school?
It's such a broken record. I can't wait.
It
till I have
is,
to
but
answer these
Ricky,
questions. But,
Ricky here
I know.
is adamantly against Harbaugh.
well,
and he's a
got his
Michigan
argument.
guy.
To me, it doesn't matter.
defend it, Ricky.
Fans are going to be fans and say what they want, but he's got the full support of the administration, I believe. I would be a shocking development.
glad you
if
put
he
believe
decided- I know.
after that.
But I mean, but you don't know unless you're like in and listening to the conversation.
Well, yeah, but you.
It would
It's
be, to me, if somebody at the end of this year, let's say Michigan beats Michigan State, loses to Ohio State, and goes 9-3. So you look at his record since he got to Michigan. You look at the absolute disaster that he took over. You look at his body of work where recruiting is. You look at the whole picture. Do you feel disappointed that it hasn't been better? Yeah. Do you fire him? To me, that's an idiotic move. All you have to do is look at Tennessee, look at Nebraska, look at USC, look at programs that do that.
but you also.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they're on the TV actually. Michigan State lost.
I think that that mentality is exactly why he's going to stay there. The mentality of fear, of moving on to the next person. Michigan is so afraid of moving on to the next person, who they're going to get next. They're not going to move on from Jim Harbaugh because he's just good enough to stick around. Recruiting has always been good at Michigan.
Yeah.
Oak always had great classes.
He did.
Rich Rod did not have bad classes.
No.
There's always been talent in the cupboard. But Jim Harbaugh just happens to do just well enough to stick around. That 10-win mark, that 9-win
Well, here's
mark.
the thing. That's been Michigan
fine.
football my whole
But
life, right?
the trophy
9,
case
10
is
wins.
still empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you know what?
Oh, no. We
Here,
already
but
covered
we've
the
gone through
Cody's
this. Look, I would much rather see my program consistently winning 9-10 games and recruiting well than to get one 12-1 season and win a Big Ten championship.
But if you
go there
could
and then go
beat
back to
Then
being
Ohio
5-7
State,
and
would you
4-8
prefer
and
to? Would you
Then
prefer
what
to
are you
go,
playing for?
10-2 and lose to Ohio State every year?
Would you rather be Auburn?
What are you playing for?
Would
That's
I rather
nothing.
be Auburn?
And what about when
Then
you get into your
who?
bowl game and
Sorry?
you end up shitting the bed?
Michigan is the
Florida,
Tennessee,
South
it's the Texas
Carolina,
A&M.
all of these
They
guys.
lost a couple
All
more.
the money, all the resources, but none of the results.
Yeah.
And that's the problem
But
with
what
the
I think's
administration.
funny, well, like,
and
what I like, you guys like if you follow politics and all, and you're always trying to
Oh,
convince
boy.
somebody that
oh boy.
it's like trying. You're not going to convince me. Like my
I'm
belief
not.
is my
I don't
belief.
want to
I'm
turn
not
you.
gonna
I'm
convince
not
you.
turning you against
No, I
Harbaugh.
believe-
Steve, I
I
sat
get my
there-
way.
I sat there at that lunch
So
table
let
for-
me get this straight.
For over a year and a half, listening.
I
know I'm not going to.
So let me get this straight. You identify as a national champion in football. Is that what you're saying?
I
A
guess-
national
And I
power.
cannot tell
A
you.
national power.
I don't identify.
National power.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Here's.
All
I'm
right.
not trying to
Are
turn
we
you
gonna
against
talk about
Harbaugh.
Michigan State game?
Yeah, but first, I'm not trying to turn you against Harbaugh. I'm trying to point out that he is vastly overpaid for what he has
The money
done.
argument I'll never buy. I just hate that argument.
Why?
Because he brings in more money than he takes out.
PJ Fleck has accomplished more already.
You know what? That's not true.
But
How many
you
championships
know why they
does he
gave him
have?
that extension? So that way whoever hires PJ Fleck has to pay
PJ
Minnesota
Fleck
a
beat
boatload
Penn
of
State
money.
at home.
Yeah.
Michigan
Not
beats Penn
true.
State at home every time. I mean,
But it's getting there.
Yeah.
Because if he gets to Indy, it's over.
Yeah.
He's already made.
He's already.
made more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he could
I
lose
mean,
in Indy and it doesn't matter because he
you're
made
in
it.
the West. Like,
Yeah,
and Pat
Fitzgerald, he's done more.
Maybe you guys should go to the West.
7 Big
Michigan
Ten
State tried.
teams have been to Indy, and Michigan hasn't. Something's a little off.
No,
there.
Yeah, but
North-
you can't put
North-
that all on Jim Harbaugh.
Well,
I mean,
it was
I'm looking at the
Northwestern
whole
last
Yeah.
year, right?
what's that?
Yeah.
Northwestern made
They
Indy
did.
last.
Yeah. Oh, it's been very frustrating.
They're a power.
Michigan hasn't
They're a
made
national
Indy.
power, right?
Yeah.
A lot of power, a lot of resources.
Yeah,
If you,
But what I'm saying
if
is,
you
look-
put any of our teams, Michigan State or Michigan, over in the West, we would have already been there. I'm not saying we would have won,
absolutely agree with you.
but we'd have been there.
Absolutely.
I don't
agree.
disagree with that for a minute, but what I'm saying is
We
why
have
not
been there,
just
though.
do it.
But that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing. We have been
we've
there.
been there
That's the
3
difference.
times.
And it's what
You've been there. Penn State has been there.
Coach.
We've
You
been
know,
there 3 times. Ohio State's been
Now
there.
let's
what,
flip this
5
conversation
times?
No,
over
yeah,
to basketball.
no. So let's talk. Let's talk.
Hey,
about,
we just beat Villanova last night.
Hey,
That's
Ohio
not too
State-
shabby.
Ohio State is not a joke this year.
Yeah.
No.
Ohio State is actually kind of scary. They have a freshman.
He's
star
a
who's-
beast.
Yeah, he's not gonna beat MSU. But
No,
he's
okay.
kind of scary.
well, let me tell you about D'Antonio right now is in a
You
similar.
got too excited there.
I did. I had to calm it down. Calm it down.
Yeah.
D'Antonio is in a similar position right now in terms of fans are all over him.
Oh, he's
and
done.
no, he's not. He's not going to get fired. He will not be fired.
Well, no, they'll ask him to resign. Or they'll tell him you fire your whole staff.
I don't think that they're going to.
That's not how he rolls. I just don't think that's how he rolls.
I think
he
in
has
his best interest, he must take it upon himself to collect the $4.3 million and then just step aside.
Well-
and then have a hand in who is the next the
Right.
predecessor.
That'd be- yeah.
I think that's smart. But what I also will say is this: if D'Antonio says, "I'm willing to do what it takes, and I really have to think outside the box," and it's proven that I really need to shake this up in some way, whatever. He's earned my trust in terms of if he's committed to that at his age and wants to do it. Fine, I'm all aboard. I want to see some change. I'm fine.
Is it
with
just me though, or
trust
does
him?
he?
I trust him to. I trust him to
He
make
looks like he
at this
wants
point
to kill himself
to
on the
go.
sideline.
He's got the old Steve.
He looked like
resting
that when
bitch
he was
face.
winning
Whoa,
this
whoa,
fucking
whoa,
Big
whoa.
Ten
You know you
championships.
have it.
No, I
I'm
mean,
sorry,
God,
I
he
don't
just-
No, he's
trust
old.
him. I don't trust him.
His face, he looks like he's gonna die.
Well, yeah, he's.
You know, it's an
He's had a lot of stress in
interesting
his
thought,
life.
though.
It's taken its
It's like
toll
all
for
the
sure.
heat that Harbaugh takes. Is D'Antonio more on the hot seat than Harbaugh? I would say right now,
absolutely. Yeah.
But Phil will tell you, I'm different than a lot of Michigan fans on that take because no, I think like the state of the Michigan State program right now, I would be nervous about because recruiting has suffered a little bit, and you guys haven't played well this year, right? You've had some tough times, but if you look at his career and what he's done, he's earned a few years to try to get himself out of this. I just think people are too quick to fire, and like
I'll be honest,
That's the
it's
current
not-
state of college
it's not
football.
a losing
not quick.
record
It's
that
four straight
concerns
years
me
of-
about him.
It's 2016, 2018, and now this. It's
2019.
embarrassing. We just lost to Illinois at home after being up 28-3. Illinois
Yeah.
is a joke.
Well, and here's the thing.
Hey,
I'm interested to
You know who their quarterback is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it
It's
in
a joke.
Michigan. But no, but here's
Sorry,
my
Mr.
question because this
Michigan.
is
You're
where I
a friend of
am
the program.
nervous
And
about.
Michigan State.
This is where I am nervous about D'Antonio.
Didn't
not,
beat us.
Not in terms of.
Did they play you guys? or
It's
no?
it's in terms of
You
tactical
got scared.
stuff.
You
Where
go- you go to
like,
Illinois.
stuff that he's doing, decisions
They
he's
pop
making.
a bubble.
We don't
in
play.
terms
We
of,
play
um,
Rutgers and then Penn State and then you guys.
Yeah.
You call timeouts,
Chase Young.
And
they have no
and
timeouts
honestly,
left.
Minnesota.
They have to score a touchdown.
Penn State.
It's within a minute.
He's back in
You
just
stop
in
the
time.
clock again?
But
I
honestly,
don't get
he
it.
didn't do
He's making
anything
terrible in-game
wrong.
decisions.
We all
he didn't
know
have
that.
to do that.
Rules are
The
rules,
Arizona
my
State
friend.
game
The
last
rules
year,
still
you have
apply
to
right
let them
now,
score
but
because
that's
they
why
literally are going to
he
kick a
got
field goal, win
Tim
this game,
Nevius
and
to
you have no
represent
shot.
him. And do you know who
So
Tim Nevius
He
is?
really didn't do anything.
There's
that
just
bad.
stuff like that.
This is
Where
the
Oh,
podcast
God,
gone
Harbaugh,
wild.
I know.
Like we're
We got
literally.
yeah,
we
this
got
is
we
the
got to
club
control
roll.
this back in.
By the
We've
way,
gone off the rails.
I have that zip up.
Sorry, guys.
Hold
Just
on.
had to-
No, it's okay. The one thing I was going to say, though, is I'm not actually concerned about his losing as much as there's disagreements between the school and him. Like recently in a press conference when asked about concussion protocol on Lewerke, the school adamantly said, yep, it was done. And then D'Antonio came out and he's like, no, that process wasn't followed. Was it the
Either
exact
way,
opposite?
vice versa. It was D'Antonio came out and he said he wasn't checked out, and the school released a statement saying that he was.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said that. The
No, that's
school
exactly
had
what I
come out
said.
First, and then D'Antonio.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm concerned is, like, he's the stand-up guy in that situation, 100%. But why, after everything Michigan State has had gone in the past, would they try to even fake that a concussion protocol, knowing how big concussion protocol is in football right now?
See, I think but what you just said is a huge problem. Is that the media, every chance they can get to pile it on D'Antonio, they take.
But it's not his fault.
Maybe it was just a miscommunication or something. No one's covering anything up. There was no fake. I think I don't think that anything was covered up. Maybe he didn't know and he spoke too soon. Something, but there was obviously some kind of miscommunication there. But people are piling it on.
I'm not
and trying to
piling it
make
on
some
him.
sort of-
agenda.
I'm actually,
They're trying to pile.
I'm
and create
piling
some
it
sort
on
of
the
Brady Hoke
university. I think
situation.
he's the good guy in this
piling it.
situation. I think he's the one that's saying, no, this protocol should have been followed.
No.
And somebody from above
Steve
me
Vito
said,
Harbaugh.
no, just do this. And now they're covering for themselves. I think he's trying not to save his own ass. I think he's saying this is what should have happened, and it didn't. And it's just disagreeing with them who are trying to cover their own asses. That's where I'm at.
I missed that because I've pretty much unplugged from all news sources and
It's not like Shane Morris where, he got up and his eyes were crossed and he didn't know what year it was, and he said, go take a snap.
He deserved
And
that.
Doug
for how bad
Nussmeier
he
was
played.
like, he's walking around, hey coach, I'm fine. And Doug Nussmeier's like, oh god.
like every TV
Get it back
viewer
out
was
there.
like, no, don't do that, don't do
Yeah,
that.
that was Minnesota, wasn't it?
Yes.
They were all just
Yeah,
looking at each other like,
Okay.
all right.
Do you guys believe? I know a lot of Michigan fans believe this, and I do as well.
I believe I can fly.
I think a big part. You can say what you want about Jim
LeBron is gonna run
Harbaugh,
space.
but since he came to Michigan,
I'm just saying.
Michigan
hate that
State
man.
has suffered more on the recruiting trail and lost more head-to-head battles with Michigan, I believe. And you look at when Lloyd Carr retired, D'Antonio built that program in those 4 years, right? 5 years prior to that. Harbaugh came in 2015. You guys went to the playoffs, right? The first year. But gradually since that time,
We don't recruit the same people.
Yeah, I don't.
Michigan's
Yeah, I think it's because here's what you got to remember.
You and Ohio State recruit the same people.
Yeah, we don't recruit
Here's
the same guys.
here's what you got to remember. We had the best class by far in terms of ranking in 2016 after Harbaugh arrived. So it had nothing to do. We're not suffering because of that. We're suffering because I think we put our hopes on somebody who we thought would be Curtis Blackwell. I thought was something, and I said it was a great hire, and I think it just brought a level of recruit and a level of acceptance of certain things, defending certain things, making excuses for certain things, and that wasn't how MSU had made its hay. That's not how D'Antonio made its hay, and we suffered remarkably from that class. It set us behind big time because we lost so many people, either just leaving football, transferring, crime with Austin Robertson. I mean, there's shit that was a class that was awful, that really put us back. And then there's been injuries. I don't want to sit and make excuses, but just as a funny thing, I was joking with Pat about it earlier, but somebody,
I got a big problem with this.
one of my buddies sent this because we always just get pissed off. The last 2 years we've been decimated. This is the injury report from this week, okay?
Good
Michigan
Lord.
out, Andrew Stoiber, ACL season. Michigan State,
It's
like-
not just the last 2 years.
you
either.
can't see that, but it's
a long
This goes back to 2013.
Well, no, I don't.
2015 was the first year it got really bad. But we had
But
Conklin,
people have
Jack
injuries.
Allen,
People have
Donovan
injuries.
Clark.
People have injuries.
Our
It's
team
gonna,
gets injured more than anybody
This
else.
last
That's
2
why I
years,
watch
I
it.
would.
What are we doing at state?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't.
but look at all that. Look at all that.
comes down to conditioning.
But look at all
Strength
the.
and conditioning. What are we doing?
We have-
Look at all the stuff with Larry Nasser, though. Now it's not the same, but they're being extreme with injuries there now because of all that stuff that happened.
I don't. Here's the thing, though. I really listen.
Ricky
Ken,
just brought up something that didn't need to be brought up.
our strength and conditioning coach.
That
is-
happened at Michigan State.
Ken Manny is an outstanding
he's a
coach,
fact
and these are people. And
What was
he's
Ricky's last episode?
Ken
Race
Manny.
one's hot.
Ken Manny has been around
talking about.
for decades and has gone through multiple coaches, including Nick Saban. Nick Saban came aboard after Perlis, and you didn't see Nick Saban getting rid of Ken Manny. Ken Manny's outstanding. There's something going on, though. You
Nick
can't
Saban
be.
said, "I can't win here. Fuck this. I'm going to the SEC."
And then he did, and then he won big time. But he did win in his final year.
Right.
I'm going to LSU.
I don't know. There's something. There's certain numbers you look at, and we sit and look at all the list of players, and I go, what the fuck would I expect? I'm sorry. Listen, we're not Alabama. We're not next man up. Next man up. Okay, next man up, and now we're at fourth string, and you go next man up. You can't. We don't have that
We have our
depth.
fifth string left tackle starting.
You know,
on
there's.
Saturday. Fifth.
You know, it's just.
It's going to be interesting.
It's.
So we should. My phone just blinked 15% battery, low battery.
Oh,
I know that.
jeez.
I know. See, we're not prepared.
No, yeah,
Our
we have-
executive producer Jordan Ryle.
God damn it, Steve.
Is not here.
He
today.
keeps us together.
Where's the chip? In
I
the
think we
Columbia.
need to get
So just
into
roaring you
predictions
just could cut
then.
off in like 10
Well,
minutes.
then let's get down to predictions and
Well, let's talk the game. What do you think is like in your view? What do you see as keys to the game?
home game for Michigan.
Yeah.
They're clearing the snow right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be wild, man. Like I was thinking about that in the seats. Like all the years I've been going to Michigan football games, I don't ever remember this much snow this early. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get it all out of the seating area and stuff. Like that's gonna be kind of
Sure,
weird.
just a bunch of blow dryers.
All those, all those
I mean,
big booty.
if all the
Walmart
snow melted
Wolverine
off of
fans.
my car from the sun, I think you're good.
So
Because nobody's sitting in the stands.
Here we go.
anyway,
I'm
that's-
coming in from the dock, so I can kill you, man. Sorry.
Here we go. They're here. They're here for us.
Uh-oh.
They're here for us.
Oh,
Jeez.
Sorry, officer.
It is
What
for
had
us.
happened was
I believe.
they're here for Kim. You got ghosted
It could-
again.
it
Freaked
could be.
out.
across. The,
Here's what I think. Here's how the game's gonna play out. All right.
Fan base is Michigan. If not, no, 10 times worse.
Value
They-
City
I-
Arena.
I actually, yeah, we're allowed to be.
I think that I think it's gonna be a close game. They normally are between Michigan and Michigan State.
so that means you think that we're gonna win?
That's the PC version.
That's what you just said.
Listen,
That's what you
D'Antonio's
said
going to
earlier.
run a fake or
I think
two. That's
Michigan's
how they're going to score.
I
We
think
all
Michigan's
know it.
either gonna
He runs
gonna
fakes
bump Michigan
on
State,
every single
roll
special
off on
teams
them,
formation.
or I think Michigan State's gonna win.
But then you
What's
just
your
said.
score
But
prediction?
then you just said you think it's gonna be a close game.
it's gonna be a close game for most of the time.
28-17.
How do you like that
Now
one?
coming
Feel
back.
great?
28-17.
Dude, I have no idea. But here's the thing.
Close to what I was gonna
Here's what I expect. I expect Michigan State to come out physical, hit hard. It's always like that. I think they're going to bring their best effort. I don't think they're just going to roll over.
Please don't wear those stupid highlighter state green
I
jerseys.
think Michigan.
Got it.
No control over that.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's all.
Michigan.
I agree.
Michigan, in my estimation and watching them, is a much better team than they were a couple of months ago. And I think most people would agree with that, unless they just have a hatred towards Michigan that they
They're,
can't. see.
they're
I
playing.
hate
They're
Michigan.
playing with. They're playing more confidence. I would
Yeah, their
agree with
offensive line is
that.
playing better. Their offense is starting to gel. The defense, we had a couple.
I'll say you
injuries
guys
earlier.
aren't turning
We got
over the
guys
ball
back.
as much,
We're
that's
not
for
turning
sure.
the ball over. Michigan's playing very solid. But if you want me to pick a score,
Yep.
is that where we're at?
Yes.
27-13.
Not
Michigan
close.
State.
Not a close game at all. But
That's
go
close.
on. How is
That's
that?
not rolling somebody.
That's
27-13.
2 touchdowns isn't close.
Yeah, if it's that close, Michigan State's
That's-
going to win.
that's
I can't
comfort.
pick
That was-
that.
that's
I can't
comfort
pick that.
zone.
I already put my foot in my mouth earlier.
Phil, tell us about it. Where you at with this one?
It seems like for 3 games in a row we got rolled, but you look and you go, okay, you're playing Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State,
4 games.
right? But the first 3 were actually
Illinois had
Legit
counts for at
teams.
least 2 games
Oh, yeah.
because they were down by so much.
they're legit. Those are legit teams, even though they destroyed us. We should have at least been have a pulse. But you look at You look at that Illinois game. I don't even know what the fuck to say about that. I'm flabbergasted. Like it took the wind out of my sails, and I think that watching it, like I said, we talked about it. The decisions the timeouts being called, it was like a dagger just slowly being drilled into my gut, and I'm sitting here going, "What the fuck are you doing? What's going on? You're literally trying? It's like you want them to win. It's almost like you want them to win." So I'm lost because, for years and years, D'Antonio had built. It took a while for him to build this edge, and he built this edge that he had, and I don't see that anymore on the sideline, and I'm nervous about that. So, but I have faith in D'Antonio, and I know that they're going to bring it. And all I can say is that, I'm thinking of like a 20. I don't think Michigan's defense is as good as last year. I think Lewerke is we have a healthy Lewerke at least this year, even if he's not, the offensive line isn't playing great. I think that he's going to do enough with his legs. It's going to be more like a 2016 matchup. I'm sorry,
17.
My years are lost. 2017 matchup where his legs are going to be the difference. And score-wise, 21-17.
Okay, I like it.
You do your pick, and then we'll let the guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're to assume that.
I don't
great
want either team to win.
Oh, I know.
I want somebody to get revenge for Devin Bush's actions, so I hope somebody goes and pisses on the M.
I was so
before the
gung-ho
game,
about
of
I was
course.
so gung-ho about that last
Yeah.
year. It was like, just give me
Yes.
this game.
I
want to.
But if I'm going to go with somebody, I think that only because history has shown it, Michigan gets too high and mighty on itself, and we'll start fumbling. The fumbles are going to come out again in this game, and it's going to be a very close game. And I'm going to go with a 24-21 with Michigan State kicking a field goal at the very end to win it.
We are in agreement. I pray to God, Jesus, because then I want to go.
Yep.
And
then I also predict that Harbaugh trips on his way out.
They both picked.
Fuck
can I
you,
get this
Bush.
noted?
It's going to
If you
happen.
revert back to the only other podcast we did this year, they both picked Iowa to beat Michigan too. So I want that noted.
Did we?
No.
Yeah,
Did I?
because that's what
Close
reminded me.
loss.
You picked Iowa.
like that to be struck from
Michigan
It's like in a
was
courtroom. Like,
gonna go for.
Oh yeah, you guys were going there. Yeah.
the record
I
show.
stopped or whatever, yeah.
That's true.
Well, if
Okay.
we want to go with Spartan.
Yeah, let's go with Pat.
I would.
Here, come on.
have to,
You have to for your
Hop
prediction.
in there,
Please.
bud.
Come on.
Keep scooching. Come on.
Pat.
Well, I think that this year does not feel good at all.
Oh, here we go.
Well, this is going to be like a therapy session.
No. We've had plenty of success in the past. I mean, for somebody,
I think we're gonna do pretty good.
Now.
You'll get your turn, Wolverine Ricky.
well, thanks to Ricky for his unnecessary inputs, but usually I would feel really good going into this game. I would feel somewhat kind of confident. I don't feel confident at all in this game. I think we are going to take our medicine for what we've beaten Michigan down with for the last 10 years, and I think we are going to lose 28-10.
Wow.
I think it's going to be ugly. It's going to be close at first. Going into the half, Michigan's going to be up by 3, and I think we're going to get beaten down in the second half. Our secondary sucks. Our linebackers we don't have our best player in Joe Bacci. Our D-line will be the only piece of the game that plays well. Elijah Collins is not going to be getting too many yards. Lewerke looks like a mess, and our offensive line is horrendous, one of the worst in the Big Ten. So with a fifth-string left tackle, you can't really beat a decent defense.
Not gonna lie, I feel like I just watched that Coca-Cola commercial where the guy like stands up and he's like, "Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball."
I've seen Pat
Pretty
more
sure mascot
confident.
is.
All right, you don't want to get on camera?
He's really not.
It's okay.
So I would like to make a small note that it's actually Rich Rod Ricky because Rich Rod never got a fair shake. Steve, we disagree on that.
Steve.
2017 Michigan, D'Antonio is going to have a red face on the sideline, and I'm going to love every second of it, and we're going to say, nah, hey, goodbye. Peace. because I hate him.
Ooh.
What was the
Mic
score?
drop.
28-17.
28-17. Okay.
Throwing the hammer down. Can you twist the camera back so all of us can be in there? Oh,
Is that what she said?
It's beautiful.
Well,
It's
I
like
think
you were there.
I'd like to thank our guests for joining us.
I am not in.
It was definitely
Pat?
thrilling. Yeah,
Wild episode.
it was. And it wouldn't be an episode if this didn't happen.
Hey!
Oh, yes. Got him.
You got to shave your head now, Steve.
Got him.
You know what? Hey,
Got
let's. The next podcast we do is going to be
Bobcat.
the Michigan Ohio State game.
It
Next
will.
podcast.
Heck, it might even happen the morning of, because we will be there.
You never know.
You never
but
know.
here's the thing:
It probably won't.
we have the annual
I will
bet,
make. Maybe I'll make that trip.
where the loser of the
Maybe I should
Michigan
go.
You can
Ohio
drink with
State game
Julie
gets
with
their
us
head
tailgate all
shaved.
day.
Watch.
So far, Andrew shaved my head every year.
Why don't, hey, listen, why don't you make a bet with Phil and he has to shave his chest if they lose?
Because he hasn't bet me for 10 years. I'm not all of a sudden
I
going to
just love to
start
see-
now that
I
we're.
would just
I
love to
bet you
see
last
Phil-
year, but that
Phil at
wasn't
work
good.
going
I'm not
like
doing
this.
that again.
I thought you were going to say shave my head.
Or he shaves a Michigan block M into his chest.
Oh,
Oh, even better.
Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
Who said you on, asshole?
To my Michigan friends, thank you for your support.
With a friend like this, jeez.
Go Blue, and I'm sorry that you had to be subjected.
Thank you for
to that
joining us here on
anti-Michigan
Big Ten
banter.
Frenemies.
Go green.
Buckeye Drew, OH.
Go Blue.
Go white.
I know.
Go green.
Well, that's just uncalled for.
Now you can just hit that button and